Guys, what's up? This is HungriCroc, and now here with you tonight with MechWarrior Online, and we here, as you can see, we got a bunch of trial mechs all available for us to try out, and we have already, if you have not seen my latest video, we have played the Spider before, and now actually we're going to try out the Mad Dog, but this isn't a mech I'm familiar with in terms of title. I am more familiar with it being called the Vulture. Now, for those of you guys who can consider yourselves as MechWarrior veterans or individuals who have played MechWarrior Online before or other series related to MechWarrior, then you can probably recognize this mech and probably are familiar with the title Vulture itself. If you guys are wondering why the Mad Dog has a nickname or alternative names as the Vulture, the reason why is, as you can see here, these missile pods, long-range missiles. So the reason given for its title is because the Mad Dog, or the Vulture, so to speak, is supposed to shower your enemies with your long-range missiles, and then when they're all very weak and vulnerable, you go in and finish them off with your medium and large pulse lasers. Now, this mech, I think it's an assault mech, I believe. Don't quote me on that. I do believe it's an assault, but it might just be a medium for all we know. But just looking at the base stats, 82 firepower, 326 armor, 402. You know, it's got some. It's alright, you know, I mean, for what it offers. However, this is one of those mechs, again, that I consider to be trickier to use. And, you know, a lot of people can say mechs are, in general, not always easy to use, but the Mad Dog especially takes a certain amount of skill and knowing when to use your missiles. We'll explain as we continue and actually play the Mad Dog tonight. But yeah, let's get into it and let's hope for a few good games, hopefully. Alright, let's do it.
Reactor online. Sensors online. Weapons online. All systems nominal.
Alright then, here we are. Game mode of Conquest. Now again, as I have pointed out in a lot of my videos, or several of my videos in the past, I am not the biggest fan of Conquest modes. They can be fun, but besides that, we're not really thinking about Conquest right now. We're going to talk more about the Mad Dog itself. Now, like I said before, let's see, trying to just go over here at this node point. I guess we're going to go straight for Kappa. That's going to be a heavily contested node, I believe. But again, as I was saying, so the Mad Dog, trying to list out several advantages and disadvantages the mech itself features. Now, again, this is a trial mech, so it's not heavily or completely armed and armored to its full capabilities of what it could definitely dish out as a mech. But again, that's balance issues, and we won't get into that discussion. However, what I do want to point out is probably the disadvantages of the mech itself. Now, that sounds like a very low note to start on, starting with disadvantages, but I think it's probably one of the more important ones to list out. So, the mech itself, as you have seen, we just fired our long-range missiles. They're very powerful. We do have an ammo count of 360 long-range missiles, and we just used already 40 missiles from our rack already. And to be honest, that's not a lot of missiles in a long scheme of things, because it happens to run out very quickly. Also, another thing probably in regards to missiles is, and you need a minimum range. So the more distance you have, probably the better off you're going to be, both for yourself as a mech and for the missiles itself. If you find yourself in close quarter situations, it's unlikely that your missiles will begin to fire. So the more distance you have away from the mech, the better it is for you itself. So as you can see, we fired off another salvo of missiles, and now we're down to 280 missiles.
Target acquired.
Oh, that sucks. We just wasted our missiles. That's another thing. If you happen to have a lock-on and you lose it, that's a waste of missiles, and that's most unfortunate. Let's see if that hits our target. I believe our target was hit by that. So again, you're going to want to be careful about how you use your missiles. You want to be very selective. Always watching your ammo counter itself. Looks like we're getting flanked already. We're just going to back off, fire a salvo right there. Just pepper him. Yeah, your missiles are definitely the greatest advantage of using the Mad Dog itself. However, I do want to point out that again, ammo counter is very low. You do run out of missiles very fast, and you do need to be at a minimum distance in order to use them at all whatsoever. And probably another thing to note, besides this mech, once you happen to run out of your missiles, now again there's a Kit Fox right there. We could fire missiles, but this is where we need to be very selective, wondering if those missiles are really worth the mech itself or targeting. I'm going to actually say no to that. I'm just going to back off right here. But again, as I was saying, this mech isn't a brawler mech, and once you lose your missile capabilities, I would actually say your damage output is significantly reduced. Now, the reason why I say that is, again, you have your large and medium pulse lasers. Now, that sounds like, okay, I can dish out a good amount of damage. It's burst damage. That certainly is true. You do have a good amount of burst damage with pulse lasers. However, the only disadvantage of that is your heat gauge. You do end up taking some shots. You do end up taking or getting your heat gauge risen very quickly, actually. Just going to try to peel away here. Reduce the amount of hits we take. So as I was saying, again, your heat gauge does rise very quickly. That is probably the greatest significant disadvantage of this mech itself. Oh boy. And again, this mech is not designed to be a brawler mech. I wouldn't say this mech is best at close quarters. You definitely want to be with the rest of your team, which as you can clearly see I am not with my team, and you want to be in a relatively safe place where you're not likely to get hit. Now that sounds like, again, a no-brainer, but this mech isn't a tanky mech, and it's actually a very, I would say a very squishy mech for what it's worth. You want to, again, use this mech primarily for missiles, dish out as much damage as you can with your missiles, and then go in to finish them. It's not a mech that you can suddenly just outright fire those missiles. Suddenly a mech that you can just engage immediately with your medium and large pulse lasers. If you see me being very cautious, I'm sorry, I do apologize that. Gameplay might not be as fun. But again, this mech, if you want to be very smart about the Mad Dog itself, you want to be very careful about your engagements. Let's see. Most of our allies are already currently engaging. I'm just using my missiles, using them, just to shower and pepper the enemy with the missiles, do as much as I can. And again, now we're at 40 missiles itself. Oh, just going to back away over here. And as you can see, we're decently lit up. We're kind of into orange now in terms of our armor itself. So we do have to be careful. We'll offer our support wherever we can, but again, the more numbers you have on your side, the more better your mech will be. And that's just a fact, to be honest. Because this mech, again, is not a heavy hitter, and it's not designed to take heavy hits as well.
And a little bit wider.
Target acquired. LRM destroyed.
Ouch. Okay then.
Pulse laser destroyed.
Taking some hits.
Medium pulse laser destroyed.
So as you can see,
LRM ammo depleted.
we've taken quite a bit of damage from that. Our torso is pretty lit up. Just going to present ourselves very small. Oh, well, that's the game itself. That's good for us, I suppose. Let's just check our player stats. Let's see, 6 kill assists, 126 damage done. Now that again was mostly comprised of our missiles. It's alright, to be honest. No components destroyed because mostly we kept ourselves out of the fight for the most part. I will try to use the mech a bit more aggressively, but again, as I've explained before, the Mad Dog is not exactly a mech that's designed to take heavy hits, much less take hits or a lot of hits at all.
Reactor online. Sensors online. Weapons online. All systems nominal.
Alright then, game mode, assault. Good old mech duking it out fashion. So I guess, oh, that's another Mad Dog we have right in front of us. That's great. I was afraid that we were going to be the only Mad Dog on this team, or just in general. But again, okay, so last game, as you saw, I was being very cautious. We did take a good amount of hits. Very close to dying, actually. I will promise to try to be a little bit more aggressive here in this game mode for assault. However, as I was explaining before, missiles, a huge advantage, especially at a long-range distance. Only downside of that, of course, is you don't have a lot of missiles, and it happens to run out very quickly. And, of course, when you run out of missiles, you are usually forced to engage in closer combat distance. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean we have to. We do again have our pulse lasers, which are medium and large. That does help a bit, but again, your heat level will rise very quickly as well. That's something to again take into account. So, good question is, how do we use this mech effectively to the best of our abilities? Now, oh, there's some mechs right there. I'm just gonna pull over here, stick with the team while we can. That's always good to always be close to your team members, so all your firepower can be combined to take out enemy mechs. But okay, I digress, guys. Sorry about that. But again, so how to be an effective mech warrior using the Vulture, or aka the Mad Dog itself. Now, again, peppering your enemy with long-range missiles is a must. You do need to do that, definitely. Again, however, I don't recommend splurging your missiles very quickly, and I know that's a habit that many people have, myself included. You know, you see a target, you see a lock-on, you say, hey, let's just fire missiles immediately. But I really would encourage you guys to withhold that urge and maybe, again, reconsider your options when you're engaging. Think about the mech that you're locked onto. Think about how much damage it'll deal out. I'm not saying you have to do math in your head, but really try to think about, you know, how well armored is that mech? You know, how much can it tank? How much will my team benefit overall by me firing those missiles at that mech itself? And again, we do have our medium and large pulse lasers. It's a good amount of burst damage to throw at an enemy mech, but however, we do need to be watching out how much our heat gauge rises.
Target acquired.
So you can see we're at 47%. We just fired one salvo round of our medium and large pulse lasers. Locking on itself, again, we have to be at a minimum distance, and that distance is slightly further away than where we are right now.
New target
We're just going to stick with
acquired.
our medium and large lasers for the moment. Now, for the sake of being aggressive itself, I'm going to have to still be very careful regardless. I could fire my missiles. I really don't know if it'll hit and land its target. I'm uncertain of pushing up right now just without the support of the other mechs. If we had like an Atlas again up there, it would be
New
better.
target acquired.
We missed that opportunity to fire our missiles. And again, that Mad Dog is firing his missiles. I don't really know where those missiles are going. He must be targeting onto something else. But again, this mech is not a mech that I would say is tanky. I would actually encourage not to send this mech in the front lines whatsoever. It's actually very fragile.
New target acquired.
Let's see. I don't really know what that mech is. Oh, it's a dire wolf. And again, that's where we need to think about where and who our
New
mechs
target
we're targeting.
acquired.
It's another dire wolf, just firing off another salvo. And you see those missiles, they do a crap ton of damage to enemy. They actually pile up very quickly. That dire wolf is just getting plummeted with our missiles right now. Our team is just showering them. Oh. Where's that shot coming from? Okay, let's back off. Let's back off. We didn't take any damage from that, I can see. That's always good to know. But again, missiles. Now we have 240 missiles still in the rack itself.
Target destroyed.
Okay, that's a target
New
destroyed. We have a
target
target over
acquired.
there. So your missiles, again, are your greatest asset to this Mad Dog, this mech itself. And then once you run out of your missiles, your advantage, I would say, is... I wouldn't say it's significantly reduced, but it certainly is less potent. Your firepower is much...
New target acquired.
is going to be... your firepower is much smaller at that point. I don't really recognize what that mech is.
New
So,
target
again,
acquired.
how do you be selective with your missiles? Think about
New target
what you're targeting,
acquired.
who you're going to target, where the missiles are going, all those factors. I know it's quite a bit. You're probably thinking, you know, it's being very anal and, you know, just overthinking it. But really, guys, for MechWarrior, it takes a lot of strategy. It's not about guns
Target
blazing all the
destroyed.
time. You really have to be conservative at times when it comes to your engagements. Just let them have
acquired.
it. Now our missiles
New
can't seem to
target
engage
acquired.
that. It's a king crab. Oh, ooh, we gotta be very careful. We're just gonna back off very slightly right now. Again, the Mad Dog is a mech that you actually have to play relatively conservative. Try to use your missiles first before engaging, and try to engage those enemies that are actually very weakened. You want to have a certain certainty that you can survive an encounter, and going toe-to-toe with a direwolf, let's say, is definitely going to be very costly to you.
New target acquired.
That mech is gonna die very soon.
Level critical.
Oh, our heat. And again, that's something also to watch out. Heat gauge rises very quickly. Pulse lasers do happen to do that. Alright, let's just see where our targets are. I think we're pretty much single-handedly winning this battle very quickly.
Target destroyed.
And that's another win for us. Not the best of wins, 12-4. A very skewed game, much to say. Unfortunately, that's not a game that I consider a good game, even with victory on our side. And again, you can see 5 kill assists, 228 damage. A little bit more damage than last game. We did use our medium and large pulse lasers over there. But overall, again, we're not dealing the most damage, nor any components destroyed from that game itself.
Reactor online. Sensors online. Weapons online. All systems nominal.
Alright then, all systems are nominal and we are good to go. Again, we're going to try to be a little bit more aggressive in our attempts to be, well, just try to be more aggressive overall with this mad dog over here. Now, again, as I have been saying, if you don't use your missiles, you are not actually contributing to this team itself, because your missiles, again, are your greatest asset and offer the most firepower, I would say. However, we do need to be at a minimum distance, and that distance can be a disadvantage for us as the mech gets closer to us. The less likely we are able to use our missiles, and we'll be forced to use our medium and large pulse lasers. Now, while those lasers do offer a good amount of burst damage, I don't recommend using this mech primarily for that purpose. I really don't. We want to really try to use our missiles. Like, I really want to use our missiles before I'm forced to engage with my pulse lasers. Just trying to be a little bit cautious right here since there appears to be a mech around here. Looks like we're already lit up a little bit. Took a little bit of surface damage right there already. Now, if you can't use your missiles, again, you're not exactly helping the teammate. You're not doing yourself any good either. The Mad Dog really relies heavily on using your LRMs for this mech to be actually effective in itself. Because, as we have already discussed, this is not a brawler mech. This is certainly not a tanky mech. And this mech overall, I would say, does not deal the most damage. It deals good damage against mechs that are heavily damaged. Any mech that has a core or a torso that's in the deep red is going to die very quickly to your pulse lasers. But on the surface, if they have not sustained heavy amounts of damage, I guarantee you those pulse lasers are not going to do much whatsoever. I would actually say they're going to do shit, if anything.
Kid Fox and D2 coming on our left flank.
Took some hits there, just going to back away. Looks like there's an enemy mech around D2. Trying to look for that mech. Oh, there's the mech right
Couple
there.
mechs coming on our left flank, Raven, something else.
Firing our missiles right there. See if there's another target.
Acquired.
That's a king crab. Now that's a very high price target. Gonna fire missiles. Hopefully those missiles hit their target. I
New
certainly
target
hope so.
Acquired.
Again, use your missiles is a necessity. It forces your enemy to suddenly move out of position, probably try to look for some cover, or they might take the hits and they'll receive a significant amount of damage. Now the Blackjack itself, as we are targeting, is a medium mech, and it is certainly not a mech designed to take a lot of hits either. I would notice, I happen to drive a Blackjack myself. Unfortunately, our missiles happen to hit terrain right there, and we're down to 160 missiles in the rack. Not
New
good.
target acquired.
Alright then, let's see. I'm going to stick with the team itself. I'm going to get a little bit closer with them. See if we can spot enemy mechs. Our torso is actually pretty jacked up at this moment. That's unfortunate. It's a close game right now, 2-3. It's anybody's game at this point. It's always good. I like a game that's more closer than a discrepancy that's much further away. Just going to fire our lasers, our medium, and then just back off. Seems like there's a whole slew of mechs right there. Let's see. Fire missiles. Hopefully it makes contact.
LRM ammo at 20%. 25%.
Yep, 25%.
Target destroyed.
Nice. That's one mech down for us. And again, those missiles are
Target
really
acquired.
crucial. You really need to use those missiles to the best of your abilities. Choose your targets wisely. And again, we know that Blackjack is not a very tanky mech. It is a medium mech. Oh, that's disappointing. Hit most of terrain, sadly. And again, we've now used the rest of our lasers. Just going to do, or not lasers, so we use the rest of our missiles. We're going to try to do as much damage as we can with our pulse lasers. Oh, that's not good. We're kind of isolated right now with that king crab dead. We're going to actually back away, try to join with the rest of the team. That Blackjack probably knows that we're around here right now. Just trying to find a safe place to put some distance between us and the enemy right there. I'm going to try to regroup with the rest of our team. This mech isn't the fastest mech, and we're only going 81 kilometers per hour, so it's not a nimble mech, so to speak. And again, now that our missiles have been depleted, I would actually say our fighting power is reduced again. That is a bit harsh to say. Some of you guys might actually disagree with me on that account, but I really do believe that the Mad Dog, or aka the Vulture, really does have a significant reduction in firepower once the missiles do run out. Because that is, again, a key asset to making the Mad Dog an effective mech. And without those missiles, the amount of contribution you can give to your team and the amount of damage you can actually dish out overall is, again, reduced.
Target destroyed.
Alright, I believe that's another Blackjack down. This team has, I believe, 3 Blackjacks. That's quite a bit of Blackjacks, actually, and such. Medium mechs. Pretty good mech overall. I do have one myself. It's got a good amount of firepower with those AC2s. Think of it like a mini Jaeger, so to speak. Now, we are pretty lit up in the torso. Oh my goodness, taking some shots from the back. I don't know where that is coming from. Again, we're going to try to stick with the team itself. Groups, superiority in numbers, so to speak. We really do need support from our teammates now. Looks like there's an enemy mech.
Behind us.
Yep, mech at D2. Oh,
Critical.
ouch, ouch, ouch.
Center torso critical.
Oh, that's unfortunate. We've been destroyed
Behind
already.
us, D2.
That's too bad, too bad. But we did receive quite a bit of damage. As you can see, our torso is no longer there. Now we should be able to finish this game fairly strong as long as our team cooperates and manages to hit their targets effectively. If they just focus fire on a single target, they'll be able to take out the enemy mech very quickly. That mech, however, that direwolf over there is very badly beaten up. I believe most of its armor and weapons is gone. Oh, this mech is going to die very quickly, I believe. It's a good idea. Shoot in the back. And that's one mech down. And that's the game for us, guys. Close game, 12-10. Not too bad. We did get a kill, I believe. A single kill. Let's actually check the player stats right now. Let's see. Okay, then 1 kill, 4 kill assists, 1 component destroyed. Only did 126 damage. Again, most of our damage comes from the missiles itself. We did choose soft targets, which would be the Blackjack. So again, guys, I think I'm going to end this video right here, this gameplay. So to take into account, I hope I've done a decent job in explaining how to use the Mad Dog itself effectively. Again, try to use your missiles selectively, choose your targets wisely, really try to target the mechs that are going to be softer, squishier targets. As we can see in this video, I did choose the targets, the Blackjacks, because they are medium mechs, and again, they can't tank a lot of damage. Also, if you can't use your missiles, your firepower is greatly reduced and your contribution to the team itself is very minimal. Try to really use your missiles to the full extent of your abilities, and then engage the enemy when you can. Definitely don't engage enemies with your pulse lasers when they're high in health. I really don't recommend that. As you can see, your enemies will die very quickly, however, to your medium and large pulse lasers if their core or their torso or any of their armor spots are heavily in the red section. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed yourself and found this informative for you and making yourselves a better mech warriors. I hope you guys, again, come back for more later. I will bring more content content, sorry, of MechWarrior Online. But yeah, guys, thank you again for watching, and remember, like I always say, take care of yourselves and take care of those around you. Until next time here on MechWarrior Online, see ya.